This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
You know, when people like reach out and ask for help and it's something as simple as, hey, shipping her a box of tampons.
The one thing about this girl is she's never asked me for anything. She may have hinted about tampons.
It is the 26th of September 2022. My name is Corey Winfield, and this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. We're on location today in a well-lit room, I would say, at Addiction Treatment Services. They have a big event going on tomorrow with the Porch-A-Palooza. Christina going to be in here any minute to talk about that. But I'm here with a couple guys that are in town, a couple out-of-towners, a couple recovery guys, a couple funny guys. They're comedians.
Yeah, so I've heard. That's what it says on my tax returns. But yes.
It says comedian?
Yeah, comedian. Performer.
Oh.
Yeah.
You get a tax break for that?
Heck yeah, man. Everything, yeah. Or what do you
write
get?
off that mileage?
Netflix, I write it off. Amazon, I write it off. Everything written off.
Damn. See, I thought I had to make this into a non-profit organization.
Well, if you plan on not profiting.
I just plan on not paying taxes.
Oh, okay. All right. No, I love paying taxes. It's my favorite. But anyway, yeah, we're in town. We're going to do comedy. We got a big show tomorrow night at the Opera House. That place holds over 6 people. We're excited about it.
I've never been there, but you have checked it out.
No, I think it's like 450. Right? It's kind of a tiny opera house, but I'm excited, man.
Those are the best places to see comedians.
Heck yeah. They're going to be on top of us. It's going to be great. Sam Miller's my opening act. Recovery Comedy sent us over. I'm going to be the last guy. We also have Brother James, I guess. He plays music, and his band's going to be there, so it's going to be cool.
Nice.
Be cool. Be a fun thing. Everybody's going to get so freaking sober, brother. You should come.
Well, I'm going to be there.
Heck yeah.
But you guys are doing something that I'm so interested in, and I'm sure you hear this all the time. I hear it all the time, too, with the podcast. We're like, oh, I want to start a podcast. I'm going to do that. But seriously, like 3 or 4 months ago, I had this idea, because people in recovery, we have some effed up stories, and most of them are funny. You know, and like when we're telling our stories sometimes, and people are just laughing their asses off, and you're like, I'm not, this is no joke. I'm telling you what happened to me. And they're like, that's so funny, dude.
Right.
And so I thought, man, you know, it would be great to get a bunch of people in recovery together and almost do like a American Idol. Well, they used to have Last Comic Standing, but kind of like just for people in recovery. You know, get Folgers to sponsor that shit. You know,
great
like,
idea.
Come on, Monster. Everybody drinks your shit. Support us a little bit, and then like pitch it to Amazon or like one of those things, and just do it online.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I like it, man. That's any place where we can get a voice. Here's the deal with us, like in terms of like recovery comedy and recovery comedians. Our deal is you got to be sober, you got to be clean and or sober, and you got to be a professional comic. You got to be funny, because you'll run into a lot of guys in rooms. They got some time, but they're like, they got 3 jokes, and it's always about shooting themselves in the kneecap or something. You're like, what the hell? And then us, there's a lot of professional comics. They aren't sober at all. They're really messed up, or they lie about it. They're like, oh yeah, I don't drink. Well, what? I still do. I still do meth. And you're like, what? That's not really clean. So that's kind of our thing. It's like finding those people that are both clean and sober and funny. Sam here, you can speak, Sam. Sam works the regular clubs. I mostly just do recovery stuff because I can. But yeah, Sam was at the Laugh Factory.
I was at the Laugh Factory in Chicago a couple nights ago. I'd say about 15% of my gigs are recovery gigs, maybe even a little less than that, because I kind of got to continue to earn my stripes. My comedy career right now is pretty cool. It's got like a real upward trajectory. It's fun. I'm making enough money to support myself doing stand-up comedy, which is a victory in itself. Oh, yeah. It's hard to do this as your full-time job. But yeah, it's really cool. It's great to be out here. I'm loving Traverse City.
Yeah, that's a cool place.
Yeah, I'm having a good time with Kurtis, you know. It's nice hanging out with, like, you're not going to like this, but with older comics that have been around a while.
Dinosaurs.
Show you the ropes.
Learning, you know, because I am like, we spoke at the men's facility earlier, and I like saying this, is it the number one most important part of my life is my recovery, and then family, and then community, and then comedy is actually in 4th place. But what's amazing with recovery comedy is that I get to do comedy to support my family. I get to do comedy to build community, and that's what we're planning on doing tomorrow night. So,
you know, it's amazing. You start economically figuring it out, because, you know, comedy is tough until you find your lane or your niche. And being a recovery comedy, I'm proud of it. right? And also, I don't know, these facilities and these nonprofits, they got a lot more money than the crap and tickle handgun night open mic. You know what I mean? It's like here's a fat check, here's a plane trip and a nice hotel, and like addiction treatment services here has been amazing to us. This has been great. So
yeah, they're a really good organization, and 217 Recovery, we do a podcast, and we also take people to and from treatment. And that's what I was doing earlier. You guys were at Nikoski, and I had dropped somebody off to go to treatment. And as I'm leaving, I get a message from Karen. She's like, "Don't leave. I want you to meet the comedians. They're here. Do a podcast." And I was like, "But I already left."
No, I told Karen, I said, let us go do the podcast for y'all, because I like your logo, man. I think it's cool.
Thanks.
217. I want to buy it. Let me know where I can buy a hoodie, and I'm happy to buy it. I don't want to buy that one. It seems like it's lived in.
Yeah, this one's very lived in.
You guys are about the same size. So.
How dare you?
How dare you?
The guy's bigger than me. He's 6'6". He's a monster.
Yeah, don't be body shaming a couple skinny guys, bro.
I know.
He's Shrek, man. You got to drive him around.
I am. I'm about 6'6", about 3. I'm 6'6".
You're 6'6". The number of the beast is what.
360. Can you believe that?
Wow. No, I can't believe it.
It's fun.
And that's all just bad jokes and butter. That's all.
Bad jokes.
How dare you?
Good
You know what he said the
jokes.
other night? He goes, "By the way, I don't know if you know this, but I have feelings." That's such a
Damn.
That's such a weird recovery guy thing to say. You know what I mean? Like, I have
Well, he
boundaries.
picks on me.
I don't pick on you. You're the one that calls me the old guy. I pick on him because he's like a puppy. Like, oh, this is so great. I've never had a shower before. Everything's amazing to him. So, you know,
Never had a
wow,
shower.
Detroit pizza. Everything to him is like, wow.
I'm excited, and I want to
Okay.
experience the community, and I want to eat Detroit pizza because I'm in Michigan, and that's a beautiful thing.
See how just.
But you're not in Detroit.
No,
I mean, they try, but it's still not.
This is closer to Detroit than I've ever been.
Okay, I'll drive you to Detroit later.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Did you have pizza while you were in Chicago?
Yeah, I did have Chicago-style pizza.
Deep dish Chicago, man.
It
That's
was
where
cool.
It's at.
It was cool.
You know, people are like, "Oh, Detroit style." I'm like, it's a pan pizza, man. Like, for me, I don't know. Maybe I'm from here. It's kind of like seeing Lake Michigan. I'm like, yeah, it's right over there.
Yeah,
Where
exactly.
people come here, they're like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
This one girl I was dating brought her home. She was from Arkansas. She's like, "Is that the ocean?" I said, "No, that's Lake Michigan."
Right.
And you're never coming back.
That's funny. That's sad. Well, really, you thought you were going to make it work with Arkansas?
I don't know. It touches Texas. I worked in Dallas for a couple years, and I thought, well, Arkansas can't be that much different. It
Big
touches
D.
Texas.
Right.
Yeah, just because states touch.
Arkansas. Yeah.
This is the
I know.
worst. Fort
Kansas
Smith.
is cool. I don't know. There's parts of the South I like. Can't think of them right now, but there are. You know, I've been all over. Houston, Houston and Austin have good recovery scenes. Dallas has a good recovery scene as well. But yeah, anywhere you go in the country, you just make it home. That's what's so great about doing this kind of stuff. We meet all different people all over the place, and
Yeah, we're not just sitting in our hotel rooms waiting for
I
for the
was
shows.
last night. I was
Yeah, that's
watching.
what you were doing.
Because I'm old. All right, enough of that. So Arkansas girl. Yeah, I'm the same way about the Pacific Ocean. It's like it's 3 miles from my house. People are like, you're tuned in. You're like, okay, yeah, there's an earthquake. Here comes a tsunami. Sit down. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. You're just jaded. Are you still sober today, dude? I want you to be grateful. But to Lake Michigan, you're angry at Lake Michigan.
I'm going through it's the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah.
See, fantasy football is happening.
He plays
my
too.
team's 0-3. Last week it was whatever the first one is. I'm so angry still. Angry is it's stage 2. First is denial, and now I'm in the anger stage because Russell Wilson. I'm sorry,
He's
not
terrible, man.
Horrible.
I love the Seahawks, man, and I love Russell Wilson. Got the championship and stuff like that, and he can't scramble no more.
Dude, you watched the
Can't
game last
move.
night, I assume.
Yeah.
Horrible. Like he couldn't throw the running back as far as weight, 5 feet. Couldn't throw it to him.
He can't throw on the run, and he doesn't run. He can't throw standing still. He can't throw anymore.
Being that I'm a Niners fan, it was fun watching Jimmy Garoppolo go backwards out of the end zone.
Yeah.
I got a lot to celebrate too.
Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't an interception.
Yeah, I can't believe Denver won that.
That was trash.
Okay,
that whole game was garbage.
Yeah, though it's funny though, Sam, you were up against somebody and like
Yeah, you know what's crazy is so I was up against somebody, and it was like
fantasy football, not
yeah.
fighting.
So they had Garoppolo and Ayuk. And so
Dude,
the minute,
that's the same people that
the minute
oh my God.
so like I'm like I told because he doesn't understand the fantasy stuff.
So the beginning
And I
of
said,
the game,
listen,
I'm old and
basically, if
I can't explain things.
Garoppolo throws a touchdown to Ayuk, it's like 2 touchdowns
doubled
against
up.
me. And
so that little shuffle pass cracked
it
at the
happened
beginning.
immediately. It's the one touchdown in the whole game. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit salty, but I'm 2-1. And but I drafted first, and I'm in a 20-man league too.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is bananas. See,
That is
How many people you think want to hear about us talk about fantasy
Well,
football? I
my-
don't know your crowd.
it's
My
just,
wife-
you're the only
Your
other
wife will
people in this
listen to
room, and we're having fun.
Okay,
Yeah,
no, I
so-
get it. Is that why you were sad last night in the hot tub?
We're having
Just
fun
sitting
in
by
the
I was
yourself?
sad because I was in a hot tub with you.
Okay,
That is a little odd.
Yeah.
Well, we got a hotel with a hot tub. Nobody was there. Normally, you go to a pool, it's full of white people. I don't know what happened. Nobody was there. Just us two fat white people. That was it.
People were like, families were probably coming down, then they saw you two, and they're like,
Yeah, two
"Let's
creepy guys."
Just
Well, there was a
go
guy. There was a guy with a big
tomorrow."
backpack charging his phone, but I don't think he was staying at the.
Maybe it's because
hotel.
we both kept going, "Come in, children." You get bored on the road. You got to have fun, you know.
You got to, man. You got to have fun. And no, we talk about fantasy football, and yeah, people probably don't like it, but the people that like fantasy football do, and maybe they're interested. Maybe next year they'll do it. And it's
I got
something
you.
that I used to do when I would drink and make stupid trades. And then when I got sober, I'm like, I got to do fantasy football. How can I do it sober?
good, clean fun.
Started a sober league.
That's
that's
cool,
that.
man.
Now, we all don't make it. I've made it, thank God, every year, but some of the guys fall off. And it's so funny because they stop sending their lineup.
Yeah.
And then I'll reach out and be like, "Hey, man, you all right?" I won't hear nothing back. And then finally, a week later, they'll be like, "Man, I went on a bender, bro."
That's
you know,
too
and,
bad.
but I'm there for them. I don't judge them. It is what it is. Let's get back and, like, come on, like, let's get back to life, man.
Yeah, that's what are you gonna do today?
Because I don't know if you guys remember how hard it is when you relapse, you let everybody
Yeah.
down, and you don't enjoy anything in life. I remember I wouldn't touch my lineup, even though I know what's going on, and I had stopped drinking 2 days ago, but I still feel so shitty about myself that I can't even touch it. I can't listen to my favorite radio programs. Like I don't deserve that stuff almost, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. You got to forgive yourself quickly as alcoholics and addicts. But I hear you. Having healthy hobbies like that. That's cool. If that's what you're into, that's not hurting anybody. If you're not gambling big money on that stuff, then yeah. So good for you. It's a good hobby, man.
Yeah, so I guess we can talk about fantasy football now. We got criticism.
Yeah, Curtis is on
All
board.
right, thanks, man.
I was talking about. I wanted to actually somehow connect this to recovery because that's the name of your podcast, right? Right.
But that's fine. My mom's like, "Yeah, Curtis, get him." My mom's the only one that really listens,
I
but that's
bet
cool.
I'd like your mom.
You probably would. She's probably like, "Oh, get him some more.
Yeah,
Tell
okay.
him."
Your mom sounds like that.
No, she's more like,
Okay.
now I'm not. I just
She in town? She close by?
screwed up my Christmas gift. No, like she lives in Coloma, which is by Benton Harbor, St. Joe area.
Kelowna?
Coloma.
Oh, Kelowna.
Which
There's
is
a Kelowna up in British Columbia.
Okay. What does that have to do with Michigan? Okay.
That's
I'm
close
listening.
enough.
All right. Well,
I
that's
mean, I
cool.
get it.
So, and she's
So,
enjoying
yeah,
her life, and she listens to your
across
podcast.
the lake from Chicago.
Oh,
pretty
well,
much.
hi, Mom. That's what I'm gonna say. Hi to your
Southwest Michigan. Yeah, she listens, and that's about it. My aunt started listening, but then my uncle's like, "Yeah, some of your podcasts are good, and some are just horrible."
mom.
And I was like,
"What's
okay.
it? Yeah, and what's he do? Huh?
He's an electrician.
Yeah. Okay. You
Yeah.
walk into his house and go, look, this light is all crappily done. How dare you?
I should be like, "Well, your logo's stupid."
Yeah. Exactly. Huh?
Who designed that?
Yeah.
You
know,
paid someone
I can't
for
believe
that?
you're an electrician. Shocking.
I don't even
We had to do that.
I don't even believe in electricity.
Okay. See, here we go.
Let's talk about
As a
that.
young guy, I
I think
don't
it's
believe
a
in
hoax.
electricity.
I think there's actually little people in light bulbs.
Okay.
Let's unpack that.
That's his higher power thing.
Yeah.
There's little people in a light bulb keeping me clean and sober.
How long has this little guy been talking to you, Sam?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's have a session.
The little guy tells
I don't
me
like
to
science.
get to hire Russell Wilson.
I believe in science, but I don't like it.
Oh, God.
I want it just to be magic.
Okay, fine. This is really heavy, man.
I want a series of like wizards deciding everything.
It's hard to believe you have 14 years of recovery. It really
Well,
is, Sam.
Just because you're sober doesn't mean you'd be closed-minded.
You have to make sense. I don't believe in little people in a light bulb. Keep me clean and so. I
You're
want
doing
to
a
thank my higher
5-hour
power,
drive.
which I choose to call little people in the light bulb. Say that in a meeting. See what happens.
I do.
Little people of America come hunt you down.
That's why I say so. You
Yeah,
know what?
exactly.
People come up to me after meetings and they're like, "Sam, when you talked about little people and light bulbs, I was going to drink tonight."
Wow, but you saved me.
Yeah, and they're like,
beautiful,
"Now I'm
man.
going to do heroin."
Oh, wow, sad. The little people told me to do methamphetamine.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Me and Curtis were in a car for like 5 hours yesterday, and we actually got along okay. But he thinks I talk too much.
He farted so loud once, like he almost threw his hip out. You could hear it from outside. He got out, and I heard.
Oh, he got out. Okay.
Yeah, but still.
I thought you meant like he was just ripping them in the car.
No,
He's a big man.
We had just crossed into Michigan. We stopped at a Dunkin' Donuts, and I had to throw some trash away. And it's
perfect time.
I just felt inspired.
Yeah, he had to
I
clear
just let
Indiana
one
out of his system.
Hey,
So where'd
it
you?
was crazy.
Where'd you guys fly into then?
I flew into Chicago 3 days ago, And then I shot down to Dixon for RecoverCon 2022. It was a really cool event through recoverycomedy.com.
The short answer, by the way, because he'll keep going. We went to Chicago because he had a gig there, and I just wanted to hang out with this guy.
Yeah.
Because we're both so busy doing stuff, and I just don't get time to hang out with people I like, and I actually like Sam. So, yeah, we drove from Chicago. It was cool. Haven't been to Michigan in years, and I haven't been to this part of Michigan, so I wanted to take it all in. It's beautiful, man. It was a great drive.
Yeah.
We're happy to be here.
Because I do a lot of stuff in the Northwest. I stay pretty busy. I'm like a regional headliner there. But out here, I don't have too much traction yet. As you kind of move up in comedy, as I'm doing right now, the world kind of opens up to you a little bit. You get to start traveling more and flying more. Usually I'm a road comic, so I'm driving a lot. Ooh. So I go out. Oh, I love it. I go Montana, Idaho, all around the Northwest. Go down into Northern California sometimes.
So those are beautiful places to drive.
Oh, yeah,
to.
we have a blast. I actually go down. I was on tour in San Francisco, hung out with Kurtis. We ate some good food. I'm going to come down there again in April and see him, even though he doesn't want me to.
I don't care.
That's what I'm doing.
I just, at some point, like he's a once a year guy. You hang out with him, go ahead. Now that's done. You know what I mean? Let's talk next year. So yeah, I got a comedy school in San Francisco I run, and basically a club we work with over there, like North Beach. He came down. He was very funny. All my students love him. They go, "Oh my God, is that what a professional's like?" And I'm like, "Well, not really," but I had to lie and go, "Yeah, he's so good." You know what I mean?
It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, Sam's pretty funny. Some people find him funny. Like if you don't have any entertainment options, let's say you live in Montana, you go, "That is fantastic."
Yeah, if it's me and like a Hardy Boys book, like if those are your options, I'm looking pretty good. Our Babysitters
I remember
Club.
those. The Hardy Boys.
Comedies, it's really competitive in that thing. You were talking earlier. The difference between, I always like this analogy, like being funny, and like you're talking about folks in meetings, being funny is kind of like being tough. And stand-up comedy is more of almost like a martial art, like you got to be great at martial arts and do MMA or something. You got to be tough, but you got to be smart too. And that's the thing with comedy is like what makes good stand-up is like a strategy and like it's a lot about what I don't say, like not misuse word economy and stuff like that,
Why are you looking at me?
Because you teach a comedy class.
Okay, yeah, it's the best one too.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
And so like that's the thing. So I tell folks in recovery, but this is what I would say: anybody who's in recovery who's thinking about doing stand-up comedy, my biggest advice is to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first, because this will get you. This will take over. I am addicted to comedy. Kurtis knows what I'm talking about. You're over there laughing.
Look in his eyes like there's little people in the bulb telling me to do comedy.
Stop.
This guy loves this stuff. That's why I love hanging out with him. He's like, "Oh my God, I was a puppy."
Yeah, because it is. I lost a couple friendships and good friends in recovery, because honestly we were supposed to hang out, and then I got offered a comedy gig, and I chose the comedy gig because I wanted to do that. And then, the guy I got sober with, he was like my sponsee brother and stuff like that, and I had to own it, and I did my amends and whatever, but it's still like, it was hard. But luckily I'm in a spot now where, on the front end, I'm less likely to put myself in a position like that where I have to make that decision. Like I'm pretty straight up with people most of the time. So yeah, I still got a home group. I do all that stuff, man. It's the best. I'm a lucky guy. So
there's a woman I know who does comedy locally on the scene here, and and she's funny. Yeah. Just as a person, I've never seen her perform, but just as a person, she's funny.
Cool.
So I think she's got some stuff going for her. But it's interesting to hear you say like, be careful, it'll take over, because I don't think you're saying be careful, it'll take over and you're going to relapse. I think you're just saying be careful, you're going to take over.
I'm not saying that.
And it's a wild ride.
Yeah.
You're going to be put in situations, and especially you kill it. You're up on stage, you kill it. You get off, and then people are like, "Hey, man, you really in recovery, bro?"
Yeah.
Which I doubt they're going to say that to her, but I mean, I can just see it happening. Like people
I
would
did
come
this
up
once in Cleveland. I swear. Mark Lundholm, he's this guy I used to tour with on Addicts Comedy. Addicts Comedy Tour, if you guys want to look it up. Anyway, Mark is like huge in the recovery comedy scene, and he kind of started it because he didn't really work clubs. It was all rehabs and facilities. That's how he started in comedy, and that's what he thought comedy was. He's got a great story. He's a great dude. But anyway, Mark and I was working some gig in Cleveland with him, right? And like it was his crowd mostly, but they're nice, they're polite, they're laughing at everything. And I told my story about my divorce, which was painful. I was trying to make it funny. It was painful. I was talking about my divorce, talking about my drunk driving accident and almost dying. And at the end, I swear, this is the only person that's ever done this. I thought it was kind of funny. She walks up and she goes, that story about your wife and your bottom. I'm like, yeah. She goes, I'm not buying it. And she walked off. Well, it's like, I didn't make it up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like your truth. I'm not buying your truth. So
what? Like,
yeah, it was weird. It was weird. And I'm like, well, one less T-shirt I'll be selling. I didn't. What do you say to that? You tell people you're brutally honest on stage. That scares people. The kind of comedy we'll do, because people are like, what the hell was that? Because they want us to go. Then I did a boo and then a boo and a boo and I got punchlines and I'm like, go to the cigar and I'm kicking the leg. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden I start talking. I did this joke. I don't know. I look back at my dating career. I had, multiple one-nighters, 5 women I had serious relationships with, 3 women I almost married, 1 woman I did marry, and none of it worked out, right? So I'm starting to think it's me, right? Mm-hmm. And people would people would be, I'm not buying it. What are you? I just told you. That's so weird. Like, I'm sorry. Or you know what else I love too? We did this show called the Comedy Addiction Tour, and we'd have some really dark stuff in there, like these sad moments in there. And because sometimes, we people addicts, we can't handle honesty. We'd be talking about like how I was sad that this woman and I ruined her dream of being married to me, and the whole thing is like people in the audience are crying, and then I hear this one guy going, ha 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 ha. It's like the weirdest. People can't handle that, man. Sometimes you go to a meeting and you're like, and then my mom died and I held her. Like, and like, what a bunch of dicks we are at times. That's all.
I got off stage one time in Eureka, California, and this is just regular comedy. But even when I'm doing, like, if I'm at a comedy club, I'm still going to talk about, like, my history with methamphetamines. I'm going to talk about jail. I'm going to talk about homelessness, because those are the things that I want to write about. Those are the things that I think are funny. Not all of it. But I got off stage. You're going to love this. I get off stage. I'm in Eureka, California. This guy comes up to me, and he goes, hey, man, let me get you a beer. And I was like, he sees the whole show. He knows. Like, I'm up there, and I'm like, oh, I'm in recovery. And he's like, oh, yeah, right, man. I'm sorry. You want like a bump of ketamine though? I'm like, no, man.
Luckily, there was a horse behind you that said yeah.
Oh, he was talking to the horse. Yeah.
He was talking to the horse. Why the long face? Okay.
I told the guy though, I felt like a jerk. I was like, I wasn't too happy about it. I told the guy, I was like, listen, man, if I was going to relapse, it wouldn't be with you in Eureka, California.
Yeah, it wouldn't be here at Moose Knuckles in Eureka. Yeah.
No, it's Savage Henry. That was a good spot.
Okay, whatever.
Moose Knuckles.
I did Moose Knuckles, Moose Knuckles next night.
All right. Yeah. That's down in Chico.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I loved it. I worked with a comedian.
Okay, this is not your show, Sam. All right,
tall.
go ahead. Back to you.
Back to Moose Knuckles.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a name.
Now listen, do you want to hear about this tall comedian from Chico?
I'd rather hear about that.
Chico, California?
Yeah, he's from Chico.
Yeah, I love California.
Yeah,
I was in
better
Reading.
hear about that than fantasy football. Go ahead.
So there's a tall comedian from Chico,
California.
We worked together at the Wind River Casino in Reading, California. He was pretty funny. Very tall, this guy.
Is there a punchline?
I forgot.
Okay, I don't see. Even years of recovery, he's jacked. Talking to the people in the light bulb.
Well, I'm going to tell you my Moose Knuckle story then.
I want to hear it.
All right, so I was in treatment 15 times.
Jesus
I know, man. It became like a thing. I was like, hey,
How many times you go to jail?
Treatment just once. Well, twice.
Dang, that's a good ratio.
Thanks. I know.
I'm like 5 and 5. 5 jail times, 5 rehab times. Anyway, go on.
I went to jail and I realized I didn't like it.
No,
it wasn't like
treatment's way
rehab.
better.
Yeah, I was like, this is like rehab, but shitty.
Sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got
Sad
salad
rehab.
bars in rehab.
Yeah, and so I was like, let me just go into rehab, man. So I went, and anyway, when I walked in the door, I was a month clean, which was weird. I'm like, I was sentenced to, I had to go to rehab for 3 months because my thing was like, I'd be there a week and be like, got it, see ya, and then 2 weeks later relapse, and so I'm a month clean when I go into this place, and so I figured, you know what, I can go in the old, I'm pissed off, I don't want to be here, or I can have fun, and that's when I started like thinking I'm gonna have fun in recovery. And so when I did a game we used to play on the radio, like we'd pop in the studio and be like, you got to say queef on the radio. And I'm like, what?
Right.
Oh, and if you didn't, you had to buy lunch. Usually it would be like hamburger or something.
Right.
Is what they give us to say, not really queef. But when I went to treatment, I'm like, hey, man, on the weekends, we all get up and go to the same group. Like during the week, it was like half of the people went there, half people went to the other side. So we go on all in on the groups, and I told my roommates, hey, look, let's play this game. I'm going to give you a word to say. Okay, cool. So I gave my roommate, I told him he had to say moose knuckle posters. He's like, moose knuckle posters? I'm like, yeah, buddy. He's like, okay. But see, what we started doing was we'd actually work, because we didn't want to just start talking to moose knuckle posters and then keep talking again. I was like, that's not funny. That doesn't count.
Right.
And you have to work it into a story.
Yeah.
So he told the story about how he was in basic training and they found contraband in his locker, and the contraband was the nudie magazine. And they taped it to his back, and that was his first impression of with his mates there in training camp, and he got known as Private Moose Knuckle because they found the posters. Well, the real story is they called them Private Poontang. Yeah. So he changed it from that, into Moose Knuckle posters, but it was pretty funny how he did that, and how easy it is to share some of those embarrassing moments. He later told me that was a very uncomfortable thing. And if you think about it, you think, oh, I want to be around a bunch of men, and they're kids. They're 18 years old. Yeah. They don't want to be the soft guy. They're going there trying to act hard, and now he's the guy everybody's making fun of.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
Right.
So that was a moment that he really felt some shit, and he was able to get that off his chest with some moose knuckle posters.
I went to a Job Corps, and there was a staggering amount of pornotography filtering around that.
Can we
Job
just
Corps.
appreciate the moose knuckle thing first? I enjoyed that story.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's good
He
stuff.
just quickly transitioned into, hey, yeah, he's shitting in a ball of merm. What is your story?
I like
now, Sam.
food court.
People are talking to me.
I just imagine in rehab that there's probably a lot of porn too. Not in rehab, in basic training.
You would think, but apparently it's contraband, and you're not supposed to have that.
Well, yeah, you're not, just because you're not supposed to have it doesn't mean there's not a lot of it.
Because then it could cause PTSD, I guess.
Yeah.
I like how, Sam, you're like, I'm just believing the unseen.
You don't believe me, do you? Say,
Yeah, even though
can
that
call
person's
them.
nice.
No, I
they're
believe it
killers.
100%.
I don't. This guy always. Just because they say it doesn't mean it. Do you live like that? Just because there's a house of happy people doesn't mean they aren't doing seances inside. Is that how your brain works? Look at this. He's just, wow. Thank God our trip's almost over, Sam.
Whatever they're into, man.
All right.
Any port in
No
the storm.
judgment.
So are you guys going to hang out at Porch-A-Palooza tomorrow? You guys hitting the town?
We are coming to Porch-A-Palooza tomorrow because it sounds exciting. There's so much different stuff happening. And even though it's rainy, it's still going to be fun. I think we got excited because the tacos are free.
Yeah.
And the taco truck. So I think I'm going to bring Mr. Giant Packs It Away over here for tacos. And then we'll hang out
What
for a
kind
while.
of tacos?
So we'll
All
be
kinds?
here. If anyone needs us to sign their big books or anything. I'm kidding. I made Aerosmith sign a whole big book, all 5 of them.
Did you?
Yeah. Joey Kramer, the drummer, goes, outside big books. I'm like, yeah, you are. You know what I mean? The amount of money I spent to meet you bastards, you're signing this. So yeah, we'll be there to say hi tomorrow, and then tomorrow night, big show at the Opera House, and we're ready and excited.
We're gonna
to
tear
do
it
that.
up. Both me and Curtis, man. This is our jam. So
I'm excited. I
be
heard
cool.
you guys were coming and looked you up, and I'm like, okay, cool. I like these people already.
However,
We like you already, and your logo, and the little people in lights talking to Sam.
I see a lot of people I see a lot of people, they come out to these shows sometimes and they think, oh, it'll probably be pretty funny. I don't think they quite understand exactly how funny it'll be. Both me and Curtis do very good at stand-up comedy, and we're also very good at recovery, which is very humble.
Wow. I wouldn't go that far, but
blew my mind.
Yeah.
I'm probably the most humble person in the world, I think.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. Even if you're not in recovery, it's still going to be good comedy. You know what I mean? So you come to the comedy show, and if you don't have a problem with alcohol and drugs, you're welcome. It's not just it's not some weird meeting where we're going to draw people. And so everybody's invited, and it should be a great thing. So, yeah, we'll be here at Porch-A-Palooza, here at the Porch.
Just so you know,
Porch-A-Palooza
too,
at the Porch, and then we're going to be at the Opera House.
I want you guys to know, I tell a lot of meth jokes, but I tell them really fast. So
Oh, boy.
it's not
Yeah, do the meth, folks. Yeah, what is it?
Well, cool, guys. Thanks for stopping by, and I think we're going to set up. My man Tyrone's going to be here tomorrow.
All right.
He's a trip.
Right. Oh,
So definitely can stop by and see us. I don't know. We'll be doing podcasts throughout the day, I guess.
okay,
So,
we'll stop by and
Yeah, I
stick
might
our head
stop
in.
back in. That'd be cool.
Yeah. You guys
Thanks for having us,
thanks
man.
for having us
It was a
on.
good time.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by, guys. And
All right.
have a good show
All
tomorrow.
right, stay sober
See you
and
tomorrow.
clean
I'll
one
talk
day at a time. Don't leave before the miracle.
Queef Moose Knuckle.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. For more episodes plus bonus features, download the 217 Recovery app and support recovery by rating us in the App Store.